welcome back to Love Your Food. This week, we're in keeping with our summery theme. We are doing potato salad. Now, potato salad is one of those things where everyone has their own recipe for it, and this one will give you plenty of room for some personalization and customization if that's what you want. This is just how we like to do it, and let's get going on some ingredients for you as well. So obviously, we're going to be starting with some potatoes and a bay leaf, and we're going to boil those potatoes. Now, we like to use quite a waxy potato for these. If you use something a little more like a russet, something that's going to come apart a little bit, you'll end up with a little bit more mushier potato salad. It comes a little bit more like a deli potato salad. But we like to have nice, firm chunks, so we use quite a waxy potato for this. So we're going to put that into a pot here, and we're just going to cover those. And we're going to parboil these until they're just cooked. So we're going to place the clean potatoes. You do want to give them a good scrub beforehand. You want to cover them with cold water. A little bit of salt for sure. Potatoes are starchy and they do take rather a lot of salt. And we're going to bring them to a boil covered. We also like to have some hard-boiled eggs in our potato salad. Now, we just did a video last week on this, so you can see that in last week's video. And there's our boiled eggs. So the potatoes, we've brought them to a boil here. And now that they're boiling, we're going to simmer them on a medium-low heat for about 10 to 15 minutes, just until they're par-cooked. So right now they're still very, very firm, but now, after about 10 or 15 minutes, they're quite soft, just cooked. Fork should be able to go in just barely and not feel crunchy, but they're not, you don't want them overcooked. So at this point, we want to pretty much stop them cooking right away, so we're going to drain all of the boiling water out, all the hot water out, and let's get some cold water on them right away. So we're going to shock them with a bunch of cold water. Now, you can boil your potatoes a day ahead and store them in the fridge overnight. You want to make sure they're dry. You want to drain them before you store them. You don't want to store them underwater. And there you go. Well, there's our bay leaf. So we'll just lightly drain them, take them out of the water, make sure they're not dripping wet. And those are going to go into the fridge for a little while. We're going to cool them off. And that really helps the flesh of the potato sort of firm up. And here's our second set of ingredients. So, of course, we're going to add some mayonnaise. We've got some celery. There's our hard-boiled eggs. We have some black olives, some green onions, and some fresh herbs. Now, this is from our garden. We like to add dill and parsley to ours. Now, these come from our garden out back. Now, there's a lot of personalization here as well. If you want to add some tarragon, you want to add some savory, that's all in there as well. We like to add this flavor profile to our potato salad, but please feel free to add whatever you like herb-wise. So we want to get a pretty fine chop on our green onions here, and we do want to use the whole thing. We love to have a little bit of variation, the more sharp flavor of the white part and the slightly fresher flavor of the green part together. And we're going to get some nice small pieces of our celery here as well. So we're just going to give this a nice fine dice. Easier to get these diced if you split those down the rib, and then just a nice little small chop on those. This, of course, makes it really nice and crunchy. We like the, again, fresh green flavor of the celery as well. And then for our herbs, you just want to just bundle everything together and give it a good fine chop. Don't squish it or anything. You don't want to mush it up too much, but a really good sharp knife and a very fine chop on that. And we've done it one way, and then we're just going to sort of bundle it all together again, and then do it once in the other direction as well. Very important that your knife is very sharp for this. And there we go, all into the pot. Boiled eggs as well, we're going to dice these. So we want pretty small pieces of this. We don't want huge chunks of egg in there. Now the yolk is sort of naturally going to break up a little bit while you're mixing everything together. That's fine. So you'll have a little bit of pieces of yolk mixed in and some nice firm bits of white as well. So here we go, just a nice dice on those. Not everyone likes boiled eggs in their potato salad, of course. We do quite enjoy it. For some people, we know this is not the way to do it. That's a personal preference, of course. And if you prefer not to have it, leave it out. It is up to you. So there's our boiled eggs. So into the bowl they go. And then from here, we're just going to dice our potato. Now, we like to have some pretty large pieces of potato. We're not going to have it a really fine dice. And we also want to try and keep it fairly together. We don't like a mushy potato salad, which is why we like to keep it shocked and chilled and use a waxy potato, because it does allow the pieces to sort of hold together a little better. The red, Chef Caleb really likes to use the red skin potatoes because the color looks really excellent mixed in with all the other ingredients in there. So you have those bright green herbs, and you have the yellow of the egg yolk, and then you have that bright red of the skin of the potatoes. And there we go, we've got all that in there together. And now we like to use, these are oil-cured Moroccan olives. We just love the flavor of these. They're quite salty and really intense olive flavor. But if you want to use something else in place of these, you can certainly chop up other olives. Olives are not required. This is just something we love. These little black oil-cured olives. So we're just going to take the pits out of those. The pits come out pretty easily on these ones. And we're just going to give them a little rough chop as well once we have all the pits out. There we go. They're already pretty small, so we don't need to chop them up too much, but we are going to give them a little chop here. There we go. That's it. That's all we need to do. Now, for now, we're just going to keep these in one little corner because next thing we're going to do is season. And we don't want to salt the olives. They're already quite salty, but the potatoes do need a fair amount of salt, so we're going to salt them. Good, generous sprinkle of salt on top. And a little bit of fresh black pepper on there. And make sure you get a lot in there. There we go. And from here, we're just going to mix in our mayonnaise. So we want to grab the mayo, and that's going to go into our potato salad now. We don't use a whole lot of mayo. We just want everything just coated. We don't want it swimming in mayo. And it doesn't look like a whole lot when you get started, but once you start stirring things together, it'll all come together, and you'll see the mayo just sort of coats everything gently. We don't want mayo to be the only thing we taste in this, because there's so many fresh ingredients. We really want all the ingredients to speak for themselves. So we're just going to give that a nice stir. As you can see, it's all coming together. And here's what it looked like once it's finished coming together. So everything's had a good stir, and that's pretty much it. So it's really nice. We've got a lot of color in it. It's got a lot of flavors as well. We've got the salty olives. We've got those fresh herbs, the nice sharp green onion. And we're just going to give it a little taste and make sure it doesn't need any adjustment. Now is when you want to add any more seasoning. If it needs a little bit more salt, if you want a little bit of zip to it, you can add a dash of Tabasco or something like that. But this is just about where we like it. And that's our potato salad. You can keep that in a sealed container in the fridge for up to a week, but really it's best eaten within a couple of days. Always better the second day because the flavors do have a chance to come together. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.